Well, hello everybody. Welcome to class today at Intuitive University, where you can actually learn about real-world strength training from somebody who's actually training themselves. They actually have goals, and they actually spends his time and day training people in real life. At Intuitive University, we take common sense strength training approaches. These are built on a combination of my own experience training myself, practical experience training people for multiple various goals, and compiling information from multiple world-renowned strength coaches into my own and adding it to my own philosophy. And yes, while we do let the science and scientific studies provide us with more information and help us learn mechanisms so we know and we can explain what we're doing better, and maybe we have better reasoning for doing things, we don't let it bottleneck us into chasing optimal, and then instead of us getting jacked, it makes us small, puny weaklings who can't punch their way out of a paper bag. Yeah, so how's that for a commercial for a new brand? Hopefully that inspires you to be part of this crew, part of this following here, where, yes, we're going to use science, and I talked a lot in my videos about science and mechanisms, what I understand, and I'm always trying to learn that better, because if we have a better understanding of what we're doing, we have better ways to actually apply different tactics and different principles in our training. However, we can't let scientific studies really bottle us up into or tie us down towards one optimal way of training, because training is inherently unoptimal. One of the things we're trying to do is create stressful environments that we purposefully need to adapt to. Here we're not just trying to be scientific researchers that might get lost in the mechanisms of studies and things that they're doing without understanding the actual practical application on not only how to help themselves, but how to actually apply those things in a real world, or to understand that there's many ways to actually get a specific outcome that you want. And the better you understand principles and mechanisms, the easier it's going to be to create a method that fits your situation. Anyway, old man rant over. So now let's get to what I'm actually doing today. So what you're seeing me do here is a superset where I alternate between neutral grip lat pull downs and banded face pulls. So I'm doing 4 sets of 25 of each of these movements. And no, I'm not actually really going close to failure on those first couple sets. I don't know what my RIR is. What will I do? Well, that's okay, because I'm not really, even though I'm probably getting a little bit of hypertrophy from this, I'm not actually doing this with the intent of growing more muscle. I'm doing this with the intent of getting my back, lats, biceps, and forearms in better shape. So this video is actually from training a little bit ago after I just came off of my last meet. And so when you're getting ready for a meet, work capacity tends to drop a little bit. You hopefully don't let it drop down into the basement, but it tends to drop a little bit because now you're doing more heavy singles, the intensity is up, so some of volume of heavy movement or of your main movements and accessories drop down a little bit. Maybe there's a little bit less conditioning. So like I said, you kind of end that block even though you're peaking in strength. Hopefully you're at the bottom of work capacity. So coming out of that training block, again, the peaking competition block, in my off season, I want to raise my work capacity back up so that I can actually handle the volume of my lifts in my off season that is going to require me in my off season training to do. This is a block where I'm slowly increasing my volume in order to adapt to that volume, or I'm not necessarily crushing intensity, but I'm slowly increasing the volume so that in my first real block of the off season, I'm not absolutely crushed and sore for forever. So this circuit is done in order to keeping that in mind. It's done to increase the work capacity of my back, my biceps, and my grip, because one of the things that I want to do is I really need to focus on my deadlift. That's if I focus on my deadlift, my squat tends to go up. If I focus on my squat, my deadlift tends to stall. I'm a little bit better at squatting than I am deadlifting, so I don't want my deadlift to hold my total back. So I'm going to add extra back work on my lower body days, which is something that has helped me in the past. So I want my back to be really accustomed to the volume I'm going to need to put it through in order to get those strength adaptations that I want. So this is one circuit that I did in this block in order to increase my work capacity and get a local energy system effect, or develop that local aerobic power or dynamic strength endurance of my pulling muscles, so that I can get more out of my heavier strength training in the next couple blocks. So class now dismissed. Go train.